Stop. Before you turn away and you click on your next video, please give me a few minutes. Let me tell you about how I had to use this first aid trauma kit to help somebody in a life-threatening situation. So what's a trauma kit? A trauma kit is different from your basic first aid kit in that these are designed to help with serious injuries like major bleeding. They'll contain things like tourniquets, pressure bandages, chest seals, hemostatics, things that are designed to stabilize the victim or the patient until you can get them to a hospital or until paramedics arrive. So what actually happened? I think it was a Sunday morning. I was at my parents' house and we had some contractors doing some work in the backyard. I think they were doing something on the roof. We just finished eating breakfast and I went upstairs, and a couple minutes later I heard my mom yelling out my name. So I go to the door, and before I can say anything, she yells at me in one breath, "Oh my God, the guy cut his arm open. You need to bring down your emergency kit right now." And after that, she just disappeared from view. I remember standing there for a couple seconds, just kind of like blinking my eyes. And finally, her words registered in my brain. And I turned around and I grabbed this trauma kit and I headed downstairs. As I was going down the steps, I remember wondering, how bad is this going to be? Are there going to be like severed limbs everywhere? Is there going to be like a fountain? What am I in for here? So I go downstairs, I make it to the backyard, and the first thing I see is the power saw on the ground to my left. Then over to the right, maybe 10 or 15 feet over, I see two men standing, one clutching his forearm like this, and I see red bodily fluids dripping from his arm. I turn my attention back to the power saw, and then I see a trail of red bodily fluids where the accident occurred, and he got up and he walked away. So I understood what the situation was. So the first thing I did was I made sure that it was safe for me to proceed, that there's no danger of me getting cut from the power saw. Once I determined that, I moved towards the victim to help him. So what I tried to do when I got there was assess how bad the damage was. I saw the injury was across his forearm, lengthwise like this, and it was very close to the elbow joint. Now, because I'd spent plenty of time watching SkinnyMedic on YouTube, I knew that an injury this close to a joint meant that I would need to apply a tourniquet further up, so up on the bicep. So that's what I did. So I pulled this out, I grabbed the tourniquet, I dropped everything else to the ground, and then I took this and I applied it on his bicep. Opened it up, put it around, cranked it tight, secured it. I forgot to write down the time because I didn't have a Sharpie marker with me. After that, I went to apply the pressure bandage on his arm. So I bent down to reach for my trauma kit. I pulled out the pressure bandage, and at the time, this came with an outer packaging. I started to remove the outer packaging, but because of the blood on my hands, it was kind of hard and was slipping in between my fingers. After I did that and I pulled the pressure bandage out, I was now starting to deal with the inner packaging. That's when I noticed I was getting tunnel vision. From the corners of my vision, there was blackness that was growing further and further, larger and larger, and it was just consuming more of my vision and heading towards the center like this. And I noticed this, and I started having an internal conversation with myself. I said, hey, this is tunnel vision. Yeah, I know it's your first time dealing with this, but if you don't get in control of this, you're going to pass out. And if you pass out, this guy is in big trouble. So what I did was my brain completely focused on just breathing. I told myself, hey, breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And all the while, my hands were applying the pressure bandage on this guy's forearm. So finally, the tunnel vision went away, the blackness disappeared. I finished applying the pressure bandage. I wrapped it up. The victim, I turned to his boss and I said, hey, you guys need to go to the hospital right now. And off they went. A couple hours or a day later, I can't remember, they reported back to us saying that, the hospital, they took care of it. And the surgeons at the hospital were saying, whoever put on the tourniquet and the pressure bandage knew what they were doing. And the funny thing is, up until this day, my parents would always kind of tease me, saying that I was wasting my time and energy and money. And then this happened. And then they came up to me and they said, hey, yeah, those trauma kits, buy 2 more of those. So what did I learn from this experience? The most important takeaway that I had from this experience was it is super, super important for you to know what to do in this situation, for you to have the knowledge and the training before the emergency happens. Because when that emergency happens, the stress levels are so high, you're not going to have the mental ability to think about what was I supposed to do? What's the next step? Right? It's just not possible. And that's what training is for, so that when the time comes, your hands move automatically. Like when I started having tunnel vision, my brain was 100% focused on just breathing to fight off the tunnel vision. Right? My brain was not thinking about, okay, take the pressure bandage and do this, wrap it around. There's no way to simulate the stress, the kind of emotions, the fear that you're going to feel in an actual emergency. But just as much as training and knowledge is important, you really also do need to have the proper equipment. I'm glad I had a tourniquet, a real tourniquet, and a pressure bandage, because those two things allowed me to quickly address the issue. I mean, sure, I could have used like a belt or something like that, but the fact that I had these tools, the right equipment nearby and handy, gave me the confidence and also everybody else confidence that the situation would turn out okay. Now, while I was applying the tourniquet, somebody shouted, "No, don't use a tourniquet." And it was good that I was confident in my knowledge that I got from SkinnyMedic, that I was able to confidently ignore what this guy was yelling about. Had I been any less confident, I might have actually listened to him and skipped the tourniquet. And so it's another reason why the training and knowledge is so important, and you have to have that drilled into you before the emergency happens. Training and knowledge that's the most important thing, really, because if you have that and if you don't have the right equipment, you can improvise here. But without the knowledge, you can't do anything. A couple, I guess, operational or process driven things. Um, I forgot to put on gloves, so I was doing all this, and I had the guy's blood on my hands, on my fingers. And even though I have gloves in my kit, I guess just in the excitement of the situation, I forgot to grab them and put them on. And honestly, when the guy is bleeding, and people are panicking, are you gonna stop and say, "Hold on a second, let me put on my gloves. Hold on, let me put this on just right." No, you're not gonna do that. You're just gonna jump right in and get to action, right? So, in the future, if I can, I would try to put on gloves, but that's may not always be possible. One thing I did learn, and I made sure to go back and change in my kits, all of my trauma kits. The Israeli bandages, or the pressure bandages, they come in two packages. There's an outer plastic package and then an inner package like this, which I'm assuming is vacuum sealed. I highly recommend, if you have these, you go ahead and remove the outer packaging and store it like this. And if possible, queue up or kind of lift one of these corners a little bit so it's easy to pull and start to open up. Because what I found was after I put the tourniquet on, I had blood on my hands. It was difficult to open the outer package because it's slick. And then it was even more difficult to get to this and open this up, right? All the while the guy is standing there and blood is dripping out of his arm. So I went back and I removed the outer packaging on all of my Israeli bandages that I keep inside of a trauma kit. That way it's going to save me a little bit of time under stress. Now again, SkinnyMedic is the person I learned all this from, purchased this equipment from. His name is SkinnyMedic, and he's on YouTube. He used to be an EMT, but now he's just full on, YouTube medic, helping spread the knowledge and helping help other people, I guess. I highly recommend that you check out his channel, because it was because of him that I was able to do all of this stuff. Okay, so now that I told you what happened, let me kind of show you how I set up my trauma kits here. This is the one that I'll carry either in my backpack or I keep in my garage just on the wall, hanging on the wall. This is the one I normally keep in my car. So I keep more stuff in here in case me or somebody else gets injured. But let's start with this one, because I actually purchased this directly from SkinnyMedic. His online store is called Medical Gear Outfitters, and he's got everything. So everything you need, including this bag here. Let's jump right into it. All right, so a couple things. I added this. This did not come with it. Well, let's start with this. This is a tourniquet. It's basically an elastic band. I don't want to take it out because it's sitting in here nicely, but a word of caution. These are not good for adults or teenagers because this band is too skinny. If you use this to try and cut off blood circulation, you'll actually cause tissue damage. So don't use this on adults or grown people. The only reason I have this is because if I run into a small child who's injured, or maybe a dog, a large dog or something like that. But aside from that, I would not use this on an adult or a full-grown person. This is a tourniquet. Um, Specifically, this is a CAT tourniquet, combat application tourniquet. If you look on Amazon, there are a lot of tourniquets that look just like this, but they cost like $8 or like 3 for $15 or something like that. Those are the knockoffs. Those are okay for training, but do not carry those in your actual trauma kit. I mean, they're knockoffs, so they're not going to be built to quality. They're not going to be strong enough. You might not be able to turn or twist the stick enough times. I've heard stories where they just snap as you try to twist it and tighten it. So spend the money on getting a real tourniquet. They're called CAT or Combat Application Tourniquets. You can find them on Medical Gear Outfitters or North American Rescue. Those are two places that I usually shop at when I'm looking for stuff like this. Right, so tourniquet, looks like I don't have a Sharpie marker. I should keep a Sharpie marker with this. That's to write down what time that you've applied the tourniquet. I don't want to get too much into how to use these things. If you want to get some training and knowledge, please go visit SkinnyMedic's YouTube channel because he goes into all of this stuff. He can explain it way better than I can. Plus, he's trained. So I would feel a lot better if you went to his channel if you're curious about this. So, tourniquet's out of the way. Next thing, this is a pressure bandage. Here's what it looks like in its original packaging. There's 4-inch, 6-inch, there's like abdominal bandages, so there's different sizes, also different brands. But what is a pressure bandage? What does it do? So imagine I got an injury right here. Pretend that I got a large beach towel and I just pressed it directly onto the wound, and then I wrapped it tight around my arm. That's basically what a pressure bandage does. One device that has some absorbent material to help soak up the blood, and it also has extra material to wrap around the arm and apply pressure directly to the wound. Right. Gloves here that I forgot to use, that I'll probably forget to use if I'm in another emergency situation. This is called an NPA. It's basically a breathing tube that you stick up somebody's nostrils in case their windpipe is blocked and they can't breathe through their mouth or their throat. It comes with some lube. You put this on there and you put it in the nose. I hope to God to never have to use this because I've never trained with this, and I'd rather not stick something up into somebody's brain by accident. These are chest seals. They come 2 to a pack. Oh, that's gross. Right, chest seals, 2 to a pack. This is really most relevant to maybe firearms or gun enthusiasts. God forbid you accidentally get shot in the chest. You're probably going to have an entry wound and an exit wound. That's why they give you 2 of these. With chest injuries where it punctures your lung, what you need to do is prevent air from going in, but allow pressure to come out. Yeah, that's what these are for. Again, I'm probably not explaining this well. Please go see SkinnyMedic's YouTube channel. This is folded gauze with a hemostatic agent in it. A hemostatic is something that's designed to help your blood clot faster. Let's say you had a deep thigh wound. You might need to actually get deep in there, stop the bleeding from inside. So you might need to pack the wound with something like this, and the hemostatic will help it clot even faster. That's included with this kit. So when you purchase a trauma kit from SkinnyMedic's website, you get all of this, minus this elastic. So you get all of this. He has different versions, so you might, if you want a different bag, you can get a different bag. But this is what comes in his trauma kit, pretty much. Again, minus that part. Now this one I keep in the car, just in case either I or somebody else gets injured. And for that reason, I'll keep extra supplies in here. So, CAT tourniquet. This is a different type of tourniquet called a soft T tourniquet. So another tourniquet. Another tourniquet, this is called a SWAT T. This is made of rubber. 3 pressure bandages. I've got a hemostatic, gloves, and in here I've got a whole bunch of rolled gauze, stuff like that. So I got a bunch of these. Oh, and scissors. Before I go, one thing I want to say, if you are the person who gets hurt and somebody has to use a trauma kit on you, the least you can do is pay them back for the stuff that they used. If they used a tourniquet and a pressure bandage on you, pay them back for that, because that's about $55, $60 right there. The least you could do is pay him back, right? He spent his own money to help you out. So if you're the guy, pay it back.